So this is a reading for the Libra collective, Libra sun, moon, and rising. This is a timeless love reading. If this doesn't resonate, check out your rising and moon sign videos. You can even check out your Venus video, Venus sign video. Yeah, or you can also check out other readers on YouTube. There's a lot of really good ones out there. So this is a love reading. Let's see what we've got here for this. When you see this is when you are meant to see it. All right. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right, interesting. I see some of you Libras kind of, you know, the expression let go and let God. I kind of see a little bit of that kind of energy going on here. Okay. So the card that comes up for you is the Wheel of Fortune. So that's I think part of the reason why I mentioned the let go and let God, because to me, this card is all about things outside of our control. And in a way, you know, I feel like some of you, especially if you're in a connection where, you know, you're kind of waiting for things to develop or become more, you kind of have taken a little bit of a hands-off approach. This can also just be a cycle where you feel like things are changing for the better. And so it's like everything's kind of just getting a little bit better, a little bit lighter, a little bit easier. And you just kind of feel like you're, you know, in the zone here a little bit. So your partner, or, you know, the relationship, the person that you're thinking about, we're just going to call them your person. Your person shows up as the Queen of Wands, and the dates March 11th through April 10th may have something important to tell you. It could be a fire sign person, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It could also just mean, you know, talking about Aries season and, Leo season. If you are single, I definitely see you kind of putting out the vibes of like, I will be a loving person and I will be friendly and fun and I will naturally attract people to me. I'm not going to have to go out and do as much work to meet somebody as I will just being myself, working on me, and, you know, people will come to me. Like if you're on a dating app, maybe waiting for them to match you before you match with them, that kind of thing. But if you are in a relationship or you're in a situationship, I see a lot of passion in your relationship. I see the other person being in a more receiving place, potentially. But what you're not seeing about your partner here, what's showing up for them is the Seven of Discs. So they may be waiting on, you know, work or something like that to develop. Or if it's in regards to this connection, they may just be wondering how much energy they want to put into it. So if you're not in a solid, committed relationship, like if you haven't made a commitment, you may find that you kind of start to feel like the other person has one foot in, one foot out. That may be the kind of vibe that you get here. So what's possible between you is the Seven of Wands, Lord of Valor, Mars and Leo. So what's worth, what am I hearing? It's like that. I get the sense of like fighting for what you care about. And so if your partner's on the fence, because there's two sevens here, your partner's on the fence, essentially you kind of have your answer if they're not willing to fight for what you have together, your connection together. So if they're kind of playing it safe emotionally, and you've kind of said, you know, you've kind of stepped back and said, well, if you're going to play it safe emotionally, I'm going to just work on me and you know, let this be what it's going to be. If that's the approach that you've taken, I feel like there's a strong possibility that your partner, your person will step up to the plate and say, oh, now I could lose this person. They have options. They're not afraid to lose me. And just in the realization that, that you're not afraid to lose them, sometimes just that in and of itself will shift people's perspective right away. As soon as they realize, oh, wow, they're not afraid to lose me, I should be afraid to lose them. So I definitely get the sense of you sort of pulling back and just kind of allowing the situation to develop, and that action alone kind of changes things a little bit. There's some healing needed here. What stands in the way of this person stepping up fully into, fighting for this connection? Four Swords. It's a need for healing. So that may also be why they are waiting, seeing how much more they want to invest. They're also kind of watching you to see what you do. Or if they ask a lot of you, are you going to overgive, or are you going to give just enough? Or are you going to give the bare minimum? If they, keep their options open, how long will you tolerate that for? Will you become extra clingy if they start to pull away? Those kinds of things. So I feel like they're assessing the situation, and they're really kind of feeling you out a little bit. Now, how you can break through Three of Discs. I feel like in this situation with the Three of Discs, as far as how you can break through the situation, this is looking at your partnership, your relationship as a team, as a teamwork operation, as something you're trying to build together, as opposed to, and this can also mean focusing on work. So if finances have been particularly challenging lately, possibly focusing on work. If you're in a committed relationship, this could just mean healing is needed around finances, and you need to put in the time and effort, in the work sphere to kind of heal that that issue. But if it's not that, it could just mean sort of having a conversation about what your shared goals are, rather than just kind of taking, you can take the hands-off approach. It's not saying don't do that necessarily. There's a little bit of that energy of the person wanting to fight for it, but, wouldn't you rather than just step away and just say, well, if you're going to fight for me, fight for me. If you were instead going to say, well, obviously we all want to be, wanted in equal measure to how much we care for and want another person, but there's also the part of needing to step up and talk about it, as a shared goal. So if your goal is to be in a steady, committed relationship, then what the advice here is, rather than maybe doing what you have been doing, the advice here is to say that it would be useful to have a conversation about what your shared goals are and determine how you want to get there. So this can mean having that conversation of, well, what does a committed relationship look like to you, if that's what you're looking for? Or, what does it look like on a day-to-day? How often do you need communication to feel supported without feeling smothered? Or, those kinds of things. So putting in the work really is, if you want to see this develop, it's really saying put in the work, and it will develop, but you can't just expect it to if you're just doing this, if you're just taking your hands off and saying, oh, it's the other person's job. So everybody has to do their part, though. That's the other thing about the Three of Discs is it's a partnership kind of vibe, it's a working together vibe, it's a working together vibe. So if you want to have that conversation and the other person doesn't, well, then you're not working together. If you have that conversation and you say, well, I'm good at finances, and you're good at, housework or whatever, however you want to set it up, or, whatever works for you, kind of coming up with the structure that way, and saying, will it work? Will it be a good, happy balance for us if I cook and you do the dishes, or if I take up the recycling and you clean the bathroom? It's if you look at it like that, and it could be something much bigger than that, but that's just an example. And you're both willing to do your equal parts, and you've determined these parts are equal to us, and we are both willing to take this on. That's working together. So If you're experiencing any kind of, imbalance in effort, or a sense that your partner is pulling away, um, reframing your relationship goals, I think, is a really important, first step toward healing that imbalance. So, what it'll look like if it happens: lust. So in traditional Rider Waite tarot decks, this is the Strength card, but in this deck, it's lust, and I oftentimes look at this as, lust. I mean, just very literally. So you could see, just having these conversations and reframing your relationship a little bit, I feel, could actually really improve things in, physical intimate, in terms of your physical intimacy, but also just bring a greater sense of strength to the partnership and a greater sense of strength to your communication and your ability to work together. So, how it affects the rest of your life, I feel like actually getting your relationship piece in place, and this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship either. I say love reading, but it can be a friendship reading. It can be a familial relationship as well. Getting this relationship in place actually helps you feel more stable and more grounded. 9 of Discs helps you feel more stable and grounded in yourself. So you're not feeling kind of scattered. You actually kind of feel like, hey, I've got this. Like I've got my physical life in order, and everything's running as it should, smoothly. I also feel like, having this relationship settled where it needs to be, kind of opens you up to new opportunities elsewhere, and potentially even, sets you in a place where you feel more confident and stable and comfortable on your own to maybe start a business, or, ask for that raise, do what you need to do in your physical, material life, your job life, your career life. It will give you the confidence and support you need to be able to step that up. So getting your partner to step up a little bit actually helps you level up. I feel like that might be the title of the video. So, as your outcome advice, 5 of Wands, I feel like the important thing to remember when it comes to this relationship is, that, keeping it light and keeping this discussion light and kind of fun. And if you can bring a little flirtation into it or make a game out of it, like, say you've got a bunch of chores you got to do together, and you just say, well, first one to the end of the list gets insert fun thing you might both enjoy. Here, you can gamify it if that works for you. But I definitely get the sense of flirtation and fun, and using your natural charm, to make things interesting again, and re-engage your partner who may be kind of, on the fence about, how much they, want to continue to engage with you. So one more card. We're going to pull one from the Messenger Oracle Guidebook here. I love it. I love the Messenger Oracle. This is such a great deck. Love without condition. Oh, this is a good one. Didn't get the glare off of that. But yeah, this one is pretty clear. It's essentially, offer your love without expectation, without ulterior motive. And you can have fun, and you can work through these things without setting some kind of ultimatum. Well, if you don't do this, this, and this, then we can't keep being together, or whatever. Maybe don't take that heavy of an approach. I don't feel like that will actually benefit you. I feel like keeping it light and fun and making as much of a game out of it as you can, but finding a way to work together through the issues that you have, through the imbalances that you have, that will help you both level up, but especially you, Libra. So if that resonated, definitely give me a like, or write a comment below. You can share it with your friends as well, and I will see you next time.